What's up, everybody? Welcome to the 11th episode of the Potato Aim podcast brought to you by Middle of Nowhere Entertainment. I am Raven F. You can follow me on twitch.tv at Raven F. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter, both at RavenF0_O.
I'm Bumpy Rug. You can find me at twitch.tv/BumpyRug and Instagram at BumpyRug and Twitter at RugBumpy.
I'm Angry Pig. You can find me on Twitch at AngryPigXX, YouTube at Angry Pig, and Facebook at AP3D Print Lab.
All right, so just like every episode, we're going to start off with bringing you some basic gaming news that's going on at the moment within the community and everything. And then we're going to get into our topic, just so everybody is aware tonight before we get into the news. This episode is going to be all about controversial video games, whether it's the games themselves that were controversial, specific features that were controversial, or whatever else the case might be. So before we get into it, I do want to clarify that all of these opinions are our own. We're probably going to state that multiple times throughout this episode. But if you get upset, if you don't agree with something, please feel free to share in the comments below. But just remember, this is our own personal opinions. It doesn't reflect on anything or anyone else. So, Bumpy, what did you have first up for your gaming news for this week?
The first thing I had is not really gaming, but any of you 90s fans of like Rocko's Modern Life or any old Nickelodeon shows that we all grew up with, the new Rocko's Modern Life Static Cling, I believe the movie's called. Yeah, it's like a special, but I just got done watching it myself. It was actually pretty funny. It was a big nostalgia trip. They do a lot of like slides towards like Nickelodeon, and they make fun of themselves a lot in it, and like how things should just belong in the 90s and stuff like that. It was pretty funny. It was well worth the watch. But the other thing I had was Apex starting tomorrow, and I think they're doing it for like a week. They're doing a solo queue, and there's three specific skins that you can get for it, which is like a Pathfinder skin where he's completely in like a suit of armor, a Bloodhound skin where he's in like an old colonial armor, and then I think a race skin. I'm not too sure. I'd have to go back and look, but that's been kind of cool. I'm definitely going to jump into it just to see kind of where I match up solo wise. And then the other thing I had was Ninja and Twitch. We talked about it last week. Apparently, they were using Ninja's page that he still had on Twitch to kind of cycle through other streamers on there and like host them and stuff like that. And one of the pages was a porn page. Who knew? Well, of course, there was a big outcry because a lot of younger viewers and kind of his demographic, so they were going to the channel and they saw this. And I don't know how long it was up. I mean, the channel itself, not Ninja's, but that one was taken off and everything like that. But Ninja was pretty upset with it, as he should be, because they were pretty professional about the whole like split and all that. Twitch encouraged him to go to bigger, better things, whatever. But he made a video. It was a short little video where he apologized to everybody, and he's like, "In no way does this reflect my brand or what I do, and I'm so sorry, and I'm disgusted by this." So it was a good move on him to do that and kind of clear the air. But Twitch kind of dropped the ball on that. You think they would be monitoring, or monitoring one of their bigger channels like that. It's still one of their bigger channels, even though he's gone. They'd keep like, an eye out on that at least.
Yeah, to me, like that's the craziest thing about the whole issue or a whole incident is they watch everything. Like so many e-girls, gaming girls, stream girls, whatever you want to call them, whatever you want to classify them. As soon as anything happens, they're all over it. They ban the channel. They're heavily monitored. But I feel like because it was Ninja's channel, even though again he wasn't playing, he's no longer streaming on Twitch and everything, but because it had Ninja on it, his brand, I feel like they just kind of threw whatever on there, to try to promote others just to get the audience that they weren't really paying attention. They were just like, oh, hey, look, this person's getting viewers. Let's get in more. And that's a complete fail on Twitch. And as you said, I completely understand Ninja getting upset. I don't care that they're using his channel to promote other streamers. I mean, at the end of the day, yes, his name is on it, but Twitch owns the channel. Period. It's not like he's the one that created everything with the channel. You're just naming it. You're signing the agreements. They can do with it as they wish. It's just an unfortunate incident. Yeah, I mean, I don't
I
know how far
think
they got.
I think the best thing they could have done in that situation is when he left was like, "Hey man, we planned on putting other streamers on your channel, like hosting them, but we're giving you the keys to it, and you decide who's going to be on it since it is technically your brand." I get it. Twitch owns
Right.
the channel now because he left it to him, whatever. But he should have had some kind of say so in it. I mean,
No, absolutely. I agree. Like you said, once it comes into play with that is his brand. You know, anybody that was subscribed to him last month, anybody that follows him, anything like that, they're gonna get the notifications that he's on. You know, we all know he's got millions of followers, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, whatever he hit now. Like that was still his viewer base, and when they got on, if they didn't know he switched over, they got on expecting to see him, you know, see his gameplay or whoever else he might be hosting. So yeah,
mhm.
I absolutely agree with you there. Uh, they did not handle it properly. But again, I mean, it's their site, whatever they wish to do. I mean, they're going to do what they want anyway. They're big enough that they don't have to really be overly concerned with how a couple of people are going to feel about it in the grand scheme of things.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Even if as far as like putting other streamers on like his page and like promoting them, they could even like put together like montages of like Ninja's like biggest um like his like most viewed like videos, just like
Hmm.
montage, and just kept it like scrolling through. That way, every time
Right.
you visit his channel, you got to at least see him and like footage of him.
Right. No, I definitely agree with you there, and I think that would have been a lot better to do, but
Hmm.
it's I think it more so came down to Twitch being like, hey, we got this channel that's worth millions. Let's take advantage of it and you know do whatever the hell we want again. So
Yeah.
uh,
Definitely. Yeah.
it is what it is. I mean, hopefully it's done. It's over. Maybe they'll learn from it from showcasing random channels and random people from it. But who knows, man? It's I don't know. Twitch ain't the same as it was a couple years ago.
Yeah, definitely not.
Yeah.
All right, so for me, like the only couple things that I really had for gaming news was does everybody remember the game 13 XIII back on like PS1 days, maybe PS2? It was
Are
the
you
old, it
are
was
you
the old
citing
cell
code or
shaded.
are you saying a title?
No, it's the actual title. It was like cell shaded. It was a shooter. It was Roman numerals. Like it's 13. It's the Roman numerals X and then the three eyes for 13. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
think I've ever heard of it.
So man, so it was a fantastic cell shaded shooter. All right, and they're remaking it basically. Unfortunately, it got pushed back to next year. When we're off stream, or I'll send you the video or something so that you can kind of see it. It might jog your memory. One of my favorite games growing up. Absolutely loved the game. It was absolutely phenomenal. When I found out that they were remaking it, I'm trying to. Sorry, I'm looking off to the side. I'm trying to read the article or try to find exactly what it was. Um, oh well, I'm gonna give up on that because it's not cooperating with me right now. But yeah, so anybody that remembers it, it's been pushed back to next year, 2020. It doesn't have an exact date on it, but it is coming, so I'm thrilled about that. And then the other thing was, I'm sure everybody by now knows who Booga is. He's a 16-year-old kid that won the Fortnite Solo World Cup. He was streaming on Twitch and he just got swatted recently. So
What?
yeah, go figure, right? The kid that just won,
Wow.
yeah,
Jesus.
yeah, the kid that just won millions playing Fortnite got swatted streaming. Like it, I know,
Let's swat this 16-year-old kid when he's in his prime.
I know. It's
Jeez.
ridiculous, man. Like I know everybody remembers the story from a couple years ago when this dude got swatted. He wasn't even streaming or anything, you know, but somebody was using the fake IP address and ended up going to this guy's address, and he ended up getting shot and killed when the cops showed up. So if anybody's watching this episode that doesn't know what swatting is, basically it's somebody that uses a software app on their computer, files a fake police reports stating that there's a hostage, that there's a standoff, something along those lines. And when the police department, SWAT teams, and everybody else respond to these, they respond very heavily because they have to take those kind of calls very seriously. And people are coming up saying, like, why do they keep responding to these calls like this? Like, why not just send somebody out? Like, that's not how this works, you know? It's like,
they don't know what they're going into.
right, you're going to go into it with everything that you possibly have at your disposal because somebody's life or multiple lives could be at stake. You know, the departments, whoever, whatever innocent bystander there is, everything. So they have to respond to it very seriously. And this stuff needs to carry stiffer penalties, but it's messed up, man. But I kind of figured it was going to happen.
Do you think, like, when they busted his door in and they see this 16-year-old kid playing Fortnite at the computer, he just, like, turns around with this bewildered look on his face? Not one of them was like, wrong house? No? Yeah? Maybe? Like, I mean, if I was, like, point man on that SWAT team, I'd be like, I mean, I don't want to hit him. I feel like we gotta hit him. We're already here.
The videos are entertaining to watch, but if you're in that person's shoes, yeah.
I love the guys that know what's happening because they'll be like, they're in a game and they're like, I think we're getting swatted. And then they keep playing. They don't stop. They're just like, yeah, hold on one. Just keep going.
I mean, yeah, it's such a stupid thing, man. Like, I don't understand why people get their jollies off on it. Like, it is what it is. It used to be, you know, the whole DDoSing people. They used to be the big thing for streamers and everything, and now it's swatting. So people evolve.
Community is not toxic, man.
It's making a comeback.
Not at all. Not toxic at all.
I thought swatting died off for a while.
It kind of did. I haven't really heard a whole lot about it recently. Ever since that one guy got shot by the cops, you know, haven't really heard too much. But I guess it's
old
back.
Meme coming back.
I heard they're cracking down on it pretty hard too.
They are.
It's a serious issue.
Yeah, it absolutely is. It's false police report. Fucking Christ, dude! I can never
do that
talk.
face again, please.
No.
Somebody capture that and make it a meme, please.
I'll have to edit that and get that as a little like 10-second soundbite. Anyway, crap! I completely lost my train of thought here. Pig, you got anything else for gaming news for this week, man?
Yeah, throw the shade somewhere else.
No, I know what you were saying though. You were saying it was falsifying police report, wasting resources, all that. Hefty penalties.
Oh yeah. All right, so. Anybody got? I'm done.
You can't talk.
Are
anybody
okay?
else?
Like, did
I'm not.
hurt you?
They did. They did very drastically. Oh man. So, does anybody else have anything for the gaming news for the week? Anything that they'd like to share before we move on to the topic of the episode?
I just want to make sure you're okay before we move on.
I am. I'm just gonna sit here. I'm just gonna sit here, keep drinking my tea out of my middle of nowhere entertainment mug, and you know.
Oh, he plugs the mugs.
I do.
There it is, finally.
The gameplay for the Call of Duty realism looks fantastic.
What is the Call of Duty realism? Like, what do you mean the realism?
It's like a hardcore mode, and you have the option to where your NVGs or not. It's obviously at night, so when you it's like when you're shooting at people and like throwing grenades around and everything, you don't really know if you killed somebody unless they're literally like right up on you.
So there's like no hit markers and like all that that's awesome. I kind of like that.
It looks sick, dude. I can't wait.
I'm gonna have to check that out. I was watching a little bit more gameplay earlier. It was like a little 12-minute video that a guy had from when he got invited to go play, and he was using the AK-47 with the suppressor and the red dot, and it looked fantastic. The sounds, like I was just listening to the sounds of him releasing a mag and inserting a fresh magazine, and just those little sounds. And the rounds actually coming out and everything. I was like, oh, man. It's just those those details that we talked about last week on that episode. Oh, and the whole doors thing again.
Yeah, how did the doors look?
Yeah.
Fantastic. They were beautiful.
The doors are beautiful.
We're going to be playing. I'm going to be staring at this door like, God, look, is that mahogany? that is outstanding. It's fantastic.
Fantastic.
But what I loved was he went to a building that he had just killed somebody in. And he slowly opened the door, and somebody was camping in the corner. The guy started shooting through the door, so the door provided cover for him. He took a couple shots, but he got a pinpoint on the guy's location and just lit the dude up. Like, he took a lot of damage, but his ass got saved by those doors, man. Those doors.
They attack and they protect.
Hopefully, this Call of Duty like steers all those corner campers and away.
I don't
I
know.
think
Like,
I think you're gonna see it, kind of shut down corner camping in general. Even that, what is it, the hop grenade? You
yeah,
throw that into a window, it lights up everybody in the room with like green light, so you know exactly how many are in the room, where they're at in the room. I mean,
Yeah.
it's
Well, to
it's gonna help.
well to me, like the Call of Duty gameplay is more of like a faster paced gameplay, and
hmm
so
Mhm.
with like I'm so used to playing like slower paced games other than like Apex and like Overwatch, but just on PC in general, it's gonna
Well,
take a
they
little time to
said
get used to.
they said too, and you could see it. Like even Shroud, when they showed his gameplay, he was struggling right off the bat, only because they're like, you
hmm
can't play this like a regular COD. You actually, it's like
Yeah.
a mix between Siege and Call of Duty together. Like
hmm
you gotta have some kind of tactics, which I
He's.
like. Makes you
Yeah,
think, actually.
Mhm.
yeah. Did you see the feature that they took away from the game that they were gonna have out or have in it, and then they realized that they didn't think it would be utilized enough by the community.
Sliding doors?
God damn
No.
it, no.
And them glass panes are on point.
Uh, they they called it buddy boosting, and basically it's
That
like to
sounds
have,
dirty.
I know, right? They have ledges like balconies, whatever else, or walls. That basically you go over to, you interact, you hit X, square, whatever the button was going to be. You hit it to interact with it, and basically you like squat down and place your hands down and help your teammate climb up over top of it, and then they turn around and pull you up onto it. So like you get up on the rooftops, you could get over gates, walls, anything like
That'd be
that without
dope.
having to go
That
through.
that'd be pretty fun.
Their reasoning for it was that they felt the community wouldn't utilize the feature enough to actually put in.
Oh,
Oh yeah, right.
So
they
I'm just
It,
wondering if it was like completely broken to where people were finding glitches, getting through
probably.
invisible walls,
yeah.
getting outside of maps, things like that. That makes more sense to me. Like even if people didn't use the feature, like if we're all playing together, we'd probably utilize it occasionally, especially playing
Yeah.
search and destroy or something like that. So I don't know. It's kind of a bummer they
All
took it out, but
They
all
they
that
could at least.
picture. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was saying they could at least add that feature onto like custom game modes.
Mhm.
Make things more fun, like old Michael Myers, like your
oh
version
man,
of hide and seek, infected, all that, dude. It'd
yes.
be a great
All I
time.
can picture is like Neff's character standing up, and I'm on his shoulders standing up and looking in a window. Like you just run by, and you see two guys standing on each other's shoulders. You kind of stop and look for a minute.
Yeah.
Uh,
Man. All right.
good
So,
times.
the main topic of tonight's episode, once again, I'm going to state this. This episode, or this topic, this episode could get a little rough. Again, opinions are all our own. The three of us, may not agree with one another. You may not agree with us if you're watching or listening to us. We're going to do our best not to overly offend anybody. We're not going to go out of our way to, but we are going to share our opinions and just feel free to argue. We don't care. Comment down below. Once again, argue with us. Give us your side. We'd like to know how other people think. Um,
Friendly
but
debates.
yeah, exactly. And with the recent issues, the shootings and everything that have gone on, sadly, in El Paso, Dayton, and others, like there have been other smaller ones recently as well that have been popping up. Violent video games are now once again under fire for pushing violence in the real world, despite the many studies that have come out and said, hey, violent video games have had nothing to do with it. Very few people that have committed any of these mass shootings or anything were really hardcore into gaming. So that's like one of the least worries. And for me, I'm sure you guys might agree. When I come home from a miserable day at work or whatever, I jump into Call of Duty, Grand Theft Auto, Overwatch, or whatever because it allows me to take out my frustration. And there's nothing better than absolutely annihilating a team, teabagging people as I'm running through, going crazy, mowing everybody down. Maybe that's just me. I don't know. But yeah. So, um, how do you guys feel about these recent accusations? Once again, and like I said, I know we've heard them before, but
Uh,
I
go ahead, Pig, because I'm prepping up the soapbox here.
I don't believe that video games at all cause like violence out in the real world. If anything, you're taking out any kind of frustration you have in the game. So I think that would deter like any violence that you would like have in mind, like to commit out in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, even before the time of games, they're like, hey, let's push this off on like gun control and all that. Like, it's nonsense.
I was waiting for him to like slam his desk, just bang, wrong, they're wrong.
They're all wrong. If
No,
anything, like even with like the whole Walmart thing, taking violent games off, like or violent like posters and like props and everything off their storefronts, like if you ever seen the meme where it has like the thing about Walmart like removing all that stuff from the stores, and then it has like GameStop and like the guy behind the curtain like creeping out, like it's like GameStop almost going out of business, and then it has like the guy creeping out.
I just saw it the other day, actually. Which, speaking of memes, I think I sent both of you this one. It's probably one of my favorite ones just because of this whole situation. It's two guys in a World War I trench. One's shooting, one's about to throw a grenade, and the one's like, hey, Mike, what is violence? And then the guy next to him's like, I don't know, video games haven't been created yet.
Yeah.
There's always violence in the world. The only reason that they wanted to blame games again for the millionth time in this situation is because, one, on a political side, you can't lose votes by blaming video games.
True.
Right.
It's an easy scapegoat.
Exactly, and that's all they want is they want to target. Yeah, the kid in the from Texas, in his manifesto, he mentioned Call of Duty. If he would have mentioned a book or a song, they would have done the same thing. They would have boycotted all these books by the author or all these songs by the artist that made the one song that he mentioned. They're just looking for something to blame, and everybody knows that except for and again, we're not trying to irritate people with this. There are very close-minded individuals in the world. There are people that see black and white and no gray. You have to be open-minded in these situations because, Pig touched on this before we even got on camera. They're taking all this media stuff down in Walmart, but they're still selling guns in that same Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
A video game didn't put a gun in that individual's hand and give him the idea that he wanted to go in there and shoot place up. Columbine, I believe they mentioned Doom. Like the old school Doom.
Yeah.
And it's like, we could go forever on, the amount of times video games have been blamed. I mean, Mortal Kombat, Grand Theft Auto, Hitman, or Manhunt. It keeps coming up, and they keep universities have done several tests over the span of years, and there's never been a link to violent, mass shootings or, mass murders because of video games. Not a thing. And like you guys said, it's a stress reliever. At least for me, it is too. But
yeah, that's like saying, "Hey, I play racing games, so I want to drive fast. I want to wreck into stuff. We should ban cars."
Right.
Pretty much.
I mean, hey, I don't know. Tomorrow I might want to go out and get a hooker, fucking, rock the car, beat her to death, take my money, and take off again. I don't know. Apparently,
don't do that. That was his fiance.
I picked the really wrong time to say something like that while she was standing in front of me. But yeah, I mean, that's just what people seem to think, and it's so annoying to hear this over and over again every time something happens, and it's always the similar situation. They never want to touch on it during like all the gang violence and everything else that goes on throughout the country, throughout the world. And by the way, if people really want to talk about anything, how about Brazil's violence? I mean, hey, I can't even go there. I'm going to start getting flustered, and I'm going to go on this giant ass rant once again that I'm trying to stick away from because I'm going to say some things that I don't mean to say. But yeah, Bumpy, you had mentioned it. I don't remember the entire statement, but somebody had tweeted or said something like, Japan doesn't have these mass shootings.
Oh, that douche nozzle, dude.
God.
Oh, they don't have these mass shootings. You don't see a bunch of people playing games in Japan. What? What?
I mean,
like it just blew my mind. I'm like, he didn't just say that on TV. He didn't just say that. That wasn't a thing.
It's that right there, and people are gonna lap it up too. That's the sad thing about it. Like people are gonna hear that, see that, and they're gonna believe that Japan doesn't have video games. Like that's the worst part about that. like people are actually going to believe that Japan doesn't have video games, that people don't sit around playing video games. Never mind the fucking thousands of arcades and everything in Japan where people will literally spend 24 hours in playing video games all day long.
If you go into like one of their cafes or whatever, they have like internet bars where it's just a bunch of on a wall and everybody just goes in there and plays. Like,
Yeah.
I think what is it? It was Japan was number 1, South Korea was number 2, and then it was us at number 3
Yeah.
for like population playing the most video games.
Yeah, and the only reason why China's not up there is because they literally ban every single video game.
I mean,
Can't really argue with you there.
It's true. They like ban Grand Theft Auto, PUBG, all, like anything like that, like any top like selling game.
All the good family friendly games, you know, all the good wholesome.
And it's like saying, oh, there's no murder or anything going on there.
Rated E for everyone.
It's like UK, we're gonna ban guns, and there's gonna be no violence. Just some mad guy running around with a knife, and like they're even like their police force. Like there's only certain like police officers that are even allowed to carry guns. Like yeah, sure, you got a taser.
But that's what kills me about like and I'm sure people have their gun likes and gun hates and stuff like that. That's a whole other topic and can of worms to open up. But it always just baffled me with places that are like, do not bring your firearm in here signs. It's like, okay, well, if somebody's going to come in there to rob you, do you really think they're going to stop at that sign and go, oh, never mind, I was going to rob you guys today, but that sign really deterred me. I'm going to have to go find somewhere else. Sorry about that. Like,
it's stupid. Like, if anything, you want people that have the license or qualified to carry the guns, like in your store, because they're not going to be like, they're not going to show them. They're not going to get fucking stupid with them. You'd hope not. But if anything, God forbid, happened in your store, you'd hope you'd have like somebody with like a concealed carry license like in there to like at least stop them from preventing more like deaths or casualties. Like,
well, and the thing too that just blows my mind about this is, say you are the one individual, like you have your concealed carry or your, whatever, and you walk into an establishment and you didn't see the sign. And then suddenly that place is getting robbed and that individual ends up shooting somebody or he is threatening somebody's life and you fire first because you have your weapon on you. Do you really think because you save people's lives, you're going to be like, hey, he didn't follow this sign, everybody get him? No, at that point, you're going to change a lot of minds like, oh, here's a responsible gun owner who has his concealed carry and he did have it on him and he did prevent lives from being taken today. They're not going to grill you for it.
Yeah, right. Casually pulls down sign.
Yeah. Kermit the Frog meme, but that's just my opinion. What do I know?
I like it.
Yeah. Can you tell we sold out?
So, for the first game to discuss, does anybody want to start off with anything first to go controversial? I figure we might go lighthearted and then go into the more serious.
Never mind.
No, I'm just going deep in.
I mean, I just figured the lighthearted ones we'll spend less time on, so maybe finish up unless you want to go the opposite way. I don't really care. I mean,
nope. Go ahead, bud.
Just dive in.
Okay,
I'll tell you what I was going to start with later, but go ahead.
Okay, so there's a couple of games that was a big part of our childhoods and most people that we know's childhood. The first one I'm going to talk about is Super Mario Brothers. Believe it or not, there was a time when Super Mario Brothers was under controversy because of jumping on turtles and riding Yoshi. I'll give you one guess as to who that was. And jumping on the Goombas. I'll give you one guess as to who that was that brought up this big issue that went on a tweet storm and everything else about Mario. I'll give you guys one guess as the organization. Yes. yes, it is.
I thought you were going to go like a complete opposite direction with that and be like, it was the Italian plumbers union that was pissed off about it because the poor portrayal of an Italian plumber.
I could have. I really could have, but we're trying not to offend people here. Okay, we're not.
I don't know how many Italian plumbers we got watching the channel, Pat, but we'll go with it.
You never know.
Yes, hardworking Italian plumbers.
Sorry, guys. My dog is constantly kicking my mic stand and it's making it rock, so I apologize. But yeah, so PETA. There was a time where PETA was throwing Super Mario Brothers under under the bus, and they actually had people following them for harming turtles and riding Yoshi in the video game, like pixelated images, and people are
Fictional characters, people.
Yep. I was gonna say turtles are about the only thing that are the nonfiction part.
Oh
yeah.
my
I don't.
Yeah, that game really makes me want to run outside and just jump on turtles.
I know,
Find the
right?
nearest pond full of turtles and just start
This-
jumping on all of them.
The
It's like Club
serial
Penguin.
turtle jumper.
It was banned Club Penguin. Oh, what do? Club Penguins in that game?
Jeez.
The name's offensive. Get it out of here.
Thankfully, that was the only game that PETA stepped in and actually put a band on.
Yeah.
All right, and then the
That was your
second game,
segue into the next one.
and I completely forgot about this one for one of the reasons. Bumpy, you had brought up Pokemon the other day for its controversial titles. And I remember people complaining that you're capturing these animals and forcing them to fight against one another and all this other stuff. And I completely forgot about the reasoning that you gave, which I'll let you take over here and kind of explain what all happened with that.
Oh, you're talking about the religious aspect of it. Oh, yeah. Which it was funny because I remember when I was a kid growing up, like Pokemon cards were kind of a big thing at my elementary school. And like they made a morning announcement where they're like, they said it wrong right off the bat, of course, but they're like, no more Pokemon cards are going to be allowed at the school. And we're all like, well, why? What happened? Like, did one of them like rape and pillage a village? Like, what? I don't understand why. Like, well, because of the strong religious overtones. I don't remember there being a religion about an electric mouse shooting electricity out of his butt. Like, that was never a thing. And then the thing that cracked me up the most about it was the Pope actually came out and was like, yeah, it's all right with us. We don't care. And then everybody was cool about it. Like,
Hey man, Pokemon are God's creatures.
like, and I mean, the funny part was like later on down the line, I think it was when Pearl and Diamond and Pearl came out, they had like the Pokemon version of God was in the game and nobody batted an eye. Like they explained the whole backstory about how he created the Dialga and Palkia, which was like the Pokemon rulers of time and space, and like how the world was created because of Pokemon. And everybody's like, oh, it's just a game. Go on.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like in the '90s, where people were like, "Nah, man, we need to burn all the Pokemon cards because it's gonna overthrow the religion." It was so stupid. I love society, but
God, man. See,
man,
I remember them making a similar page when I was in school. In fact, I got in trouble one day because I had my binder of Pokemon cards in my backpack because I was going to a buddy's house after school that day because I think my mom was out or whatever. She was gonna be out of town, so I went to my buddy's house, and yeah, I got like chewed. Like my ass got chewed out up one side and down the other over having my fucking binder of Pokemon cards on me. And like, you guys got to stop bringing these goddamn Pokemon cards into this school. This shit's just getting ridiculous. I'm like, Pokemon? What the fuck is a Pokemon? Like,
That's what my dad still calls that. Pokemon.
that's how Pat got all the ladies back in school. He was like, "You want to check out my holographic Charizard?"
Yeah,
What's
oh
up,
yeah.
girl?
Pokemon is bad, okay? Because you are promoting animal cruelty. You're
Yeah.
enslaving, you're
God,
breeding
dude.
these creatures to fight, just like some of those famous football players.
That's why I only use ghost type Pokemon because they're not technically animals.
And they
They're
have
spirits.
feelings too.
I don't think PETA has a branch for that. But I'll be the first to know.
Oh man. All right. What's the next game anybody wants to bring up here? I'm kind of interested to hear some of these.
Like what,
Mortal
like-
Kombat.
Oh,
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, when that came out, everybody was like, "Oh man, this is awesome!" And then of course, all the parents were like, "Oh, the violence!" And I think it actually sparked them to put in like the no gore mode, so where like you
Yeah.
could turn the blood off. I was like, "All right, you didn't fix
Yeah.
anything."
dude, there are some games that actually come out with no gore, and then you have to pay like $2 to get the gore pack just so they can keep
What?
it in a certain rating. Yeah, like Total War. I think
Yep.
I don't. It's if it was the first or the second, it was probably the second one. But you literally bought the game. There's no gore in like the campaign, the fight scenes, and all that. And then I think it was like $2.99 to buy that pack like separately for gore. Yeah.
Talk about microtransactions. Holy shit, dude.
Yep. There's a lot in that game. Literally any
That-
kind of faction you added into that game was like it would cost you something.
That's ridiculous. Like, to me, the microtransactions should be more controversial than any digital blood or anything like that. Well, and like speaking of Mortal Kombat, the newest Mortal Kombat. If nobody's played Mortal Kombat 11, that fucking game is brutal, man. Like I love the fatalities on it. I don't know, maybe I have something wrong with me because I enjoy it so much, but god damn, that game is fucking amazing. I don't know. It's always just been pixelated images to me. Like when I was a kid, I was taught at a very, very young age what was real, what was make believe. And to understand that this is nothing but art. It's the same thing if somebody drew pictures. Like it's not real. Like it has absolutely no bearing on anything that you do in your day-to-day lives. If it does, you have many more problems than just this video game. Sorry to put that out there to you, but you might want to see somebody for that.
I think people lose sight of that too. That these things, they're for entertainment purposes.
Right.
That's what this is. You're looking way too in depth. Well, it altered his personality to where he became a violent person. I guarantee you, it was his upbringing, not a pixelated piece of art that decided he was going to go out and do what he did. I just find that very hard to believe. Yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say it's very entertaining to me personally to watch Neff play Mortal Kombat. The way he gets into it and stares, and then just instant rage, dude. Just,
yeah. Mortal Kombat 11 has not been very good to me. Mortal Kombat X was much better to me. I won a lot on Mortal Kombat X. Mortal Kombat 11, I don't know. It's kind of going the way that me talking has been going the last couple episodes. Like me brain no think good. Like
it's
me
redder and redder.
Man.
Should we talk about the big one, GTA?
Yes.
That never sparked any controversy.
No, never, not at all.
And I really, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it wasn't until like GTA 3, like the first 3D one, that it was really like, oh man, this is a problem.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Like when it was a bird's eye view for GTA 1 and 2, you didn't hear anything about it.
No one cared.
Just run around, shoot little pixel bullets at people and jump in cars and do one of these all over the road, hitting everything.
Yeah.
I mean, they were pretty straightforward with what it was going to be, too. They're like, hey, this game's not going to be for everybody. Like, that's why we have the rating system that we have, which a lot of people forget about that. Like, well, what are they going to do about these violent video games? How about if your kid's not of age, you just don't buy them the game?
Right. Yeah. That's one of the things I absolutely loved when I worked at Walmart, man. Like working in electronics, especially. People come in, oh, my kid's turning 8. I want to get him a game. How is this Grand Theft Auto game? I hear it's pretty fun.
Fabulous. Buy it for
him. I'm like, all right, if you want your kid to be exposed to hookers and blow and beer and, killing cops and civilians and shit, yeah, sure, absolutely. Little Johnny's going to fucking love it. But you're going to be back in, like, the next couple of days bitching at me, know? And then, like, I literally had one customer that took their kid in or brought their kid in, bought the game, had to be 17. So I told her, I was like, hey, you got to be here. This game requires you to be 17 or older to purchase. He's like, oh, that's fine. My kid, he's fine. Literally the next day she brought the game back when I was working. Of course I had to be there. Fucking slammed the game down on the counter, screaming at me, man. Oh my God. How could you let my son get this game? I was like, you were here. I told you had to be 17 to buy the damn thing.
You guilt tripped her. You're like, if you were a good parent, you would buy this game right now for your little kid.
You should have told her, like, but did you play it? Did you play it? The graphics are amazing.
I just never understood that. Like parents take so little responsibility at times. Not all parents, of course, but there are a lot of parents out there that get their kid a game just to get them to shut the hell up, and then are going to gripe because this got shit in there they don't want their kid to see. Like, obviously, most parents anyway, aren't going to let their little kids sit down and watch fucking Saw, something like that, because they read the ratings. Like, why is it that parents pay attention to the ratings on movies, You know, they see the PG-13, the rated R or whatever, and they're like, oh no, you can't see this. But they see the rated M. Oh, M.
Yeah.
Okay, it says mature. No, it'll be fine.
Yeah, it's a video game. It's not real. Must buy it for
Uh,
my child. Well, then again, the movie you're probably watching also isn't real, so it
I actually got
doesn't
a
make
good
sense.
story. I got a good story about this actually. Not to cut you off, Pig, but
Oh, you're
my
good.
mom used to work for a cable internet provider back in the day, and one day she was telling me that this parent called in and was like, "What is this Adult Swim channel that my kid keeps watching? My 8-year-old kid. It's got cartoons on it, but they're horrible, filthy cartoons." And she's like, "Yeah, like." Before every like commercial break, they show you like censor thing that says is not appropriate for children over or under the age of 18. Like it's right there.
Hmm.
She's like, well, it's on right after Cartoon Network and yada yada. I was like, well, maybe if you informed yourself better about what your kid was watching and paid attention to your child, you wouldn't have that problem. Ah, that just blows my mind. Like how many parents, like you said, Pat, they'll just get their kids something to shut them up instead of like actually looking up information on it. Look at the Deadpool movie when it first came out. How many parents took their kids to go see that, and
Yeah,
then
it's a
five minutes
superhero
in,
movie.
like 5 minutes in, they're walking out. It's like, did you not see our rating before you walked in here?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
At least look up at the trailer. It tells you everything right there.
oh,
man, man. I mean, then again, we are also living in an age where, you know, people leave their kids in cars when it's like 110 degrees outside, you know, and then they say, oh, put something important in the back seat.
Hmm.
right, yeah.
So, I mean, we should know not to expect a whole lot from people anymore, to be quite honest. And again, I apologize if I offend you. These are my views only.
Yep.
Society's just getting dumber and dumber, dude. It's
Yeah, if you want to see some interesting stories, all you gotta do is type in like Florida, and then something will pop up,
Florida
or
man.
Florida man.
Florida
There
man.
it is.
Florida
Type,
man.
You're
yeah,
like,
type in.
this world can't get any dumber. Florida man. Holy shit! Look what that is. Oh my god.
There was a thing going
Uh,
around that said like type in Florida man and your day, like the day and month that you were born, and like
Yep.
copy and paste the stories. Holy hell, the ones that popped up on my birthday, man. I was on the floor crying reading some of them.
I'm gonna have to do that after this.
Yeah, I've
You
seen it.
should.
I just never did it.
It's fantastic. Oh my god, I looked up mine and suicides, and I'm like, oh my god, that suicide girl, by the way. Yeah, uh, God, yeah.
One one game I do kind of want to bring up, and this is where, for me at least, the pendulum kind of swings in the other direction as far as I am actually against this game. Um, I know there's two actually that I'll bring up, but the first one was a game that was called Hatred.
Hmm.
Now, when I was told about this game, I didn't think it was a real thing. Didn't think anybody could make something like that or that it would even get published. Um, and then when I saw the trailer for it, it was literally a game about you doing mass shootings. That's all you did. There was no rhyme or reason to the game other than to go out and kill everybody. And some of the executions they had, they were brutal. I mean, it was stuff that was like whoever made this has some serious issues, and if they don't, they probably do after making it. Um, I don't think there's a place for games like that. I really don't. I don't. I think whoever produced the game, I don't know the company, they should have, you know, seen some legal action against them because it was an abomination and it put a guy on the gaming community in general. I was highly against it. There was just no place in the world for a game like that.
Yeah, that's like Postal 2's the same way. Just it's all about just mass killing. There's racism. There's homophobia. There's literally anything you like. You just like walk out and you just kill everybody, and everything's like in the goriest way possible. It's like
So this is, and I have Postal 2. It is on my computer right now. I was thinking about
yeah,
playing it when after we got done with everything tonight. After I played a little bit of Fortnite in a bit. Uh, so the first trailer I had ever seen of Postal 2, and then I'll go back to Hatred here in a second. Was when a guy had a cat on the end of his gun as a suppressor, and every time he pulled the trigger, it meowed. That's exactly what it did. Meow, 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 meow. Yeah, that's exactly what it did. I didn't realize that in the game, like you could literally walk out and piss on people.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I did not know that before. I got it for like $1 on Steam, I think it was. So I was like, why not? I've never played it. I heard how terrible this game was. Let me check it out. Yeah, I walked up to a dude that was standing outside the post office and started pissing on him. He turned around, looked at me, yelled at me, and then started puking everywhere. I was like, all right, a valid response aside from like getting punched in the mouth or whatever. And then a cop was standing there, and I went up and I pissed on the cop, took his gun out, shot me. Again, a valid response, I think.
That will happen if you do that in the real world.
Yeah, so
And they were
like
justified.
that. I mean, it has objectives. Like it was like to go to the bank and get money out because you just lost your job or whatever, and like go do all this other stupid shit. But nobody's gonna play Postal for any of the missions or any of the quests or anything like that. You're gonna play it to go do stupid shit and see what kind of terrible crap you can pull off.
Yep.
You know, that's just the way it is.
That's when you have the most fun, like Grand Theft
Yeah.
Auto. Just roll
Yeah,
out, do whatever you want, and
right.
screw everything else.
Yeah, and then but like you said with Hatred, that game, like Postal, Grand Theft Auto, things like that, I can make light of, I can joke about. I mean, I've played them. They have underlying tones. They had a lot of comedic factors, and that's one of the things about Postal 2 is yes, it was controversial. Yes, you can do a lot of fucked up shit in there, but it has a lot of comedy to it as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
you know, and I mean, it's not like you have to do any of that stuff. It's just there if you want to do it.
Mhm.
You know, but Hatred, like literally, the game of Hatred is nothing more than hatred. Like you just go around, like you said, just killing people just because they're there. Like that's all the objective is to the game. And I mean, I understand, like you said, about the whole legal action and everything, but again, they do that. That's a whole censorship thing. You know, that gets into dangerous grounds, and then they'll end up winning that anyway because it's unconstitutional to block that game and everything else. So I get why nothing came of that. I don't agree with it or for whatever means. I know they stopped any retail sale of the game, and it got pulled from Steam for quite a while. Like basically, no store wanted a physical copy because they were releasing physical copies of it there for a while, or were trying to, and everybody was like, "No, we're not going to do this." So I just why, you know?
Yeah,
And
there was no need for it. I mean, somebody made it for a shock value game. That's all it
yeah,
was.
Mhm.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's just one of those things. It's edgy to be edgy for no other
Right.
reason.
Yep.
Let's see how many people we can piss off with this while making money on top of it. And it's got to be one of the easiest games to make. I mean, literally, you could jump into Unreal Engine or Unity and probably make it in a few months after you get the character design and everything, because there's not much to the game.
It's pretty linear, straightforward. The other one, I don't know what the actual. I honestly think the title of it was School Shooter, where there's two teams. There's a SWAT team, and then there was a school shooter. I had read up on it a little bit. I think it was actually made as a training tool for some police departments. That was like, I mean, when you watch the videos of it too, it's a really low budget, low quality game to where it looks like it could just be for training purposes. But somebody got a port of it and actually like put it out in the world and made it like a game to where the school shooter tries to shoot as many people to get as much as many points, I guess, or whatever, and then SWAT comes in and you have to take them out. I get it was made for a training tool. I understand that, but that's where it should have stopped. Because is anybody gonna really want to play that?
Yeah.
Right.
No.
It's pointless. And I just looked it up really quick, so I apologize for looking away from my camera and everything. It was called Active Shooter. Like that's
yeah.
close. Yeah, close enough. But yeah, I mean it's and this is where I'm on both sides, where I kind of try to play devil's advocate and everything. It's pointless. It's stupid. Like, there's no reason for it. If you want to play something where you're law enforcement stopping something, play Rainbow Six. You know, like the ones where you actually had campaigns. Play something. Play the SWAT games, things like that. There are plenty of games out there where you can play as law enforcement and everything. There's no need for something like that. And I love the old Punisher game. I don't know if you guys remember, but it was literally just brutal violence for the sake of being brutally violent. Like
it's
that's
the
all.
Punisher though.
Right. But I mean, like when you're feeding somebody to piranhas and you pull them up and their head is just gone because the piranhas ate it, you know, throwing them into wood chippers and everything else.
I'm
Like,
sorry. How do you interrogate people, Pat?
but like there's like you said, there's no reason for it. It's just bad taste, and yeah, I'm just trying to wrap my mind around why somebody would feel the need to release something like that. And honestly, again, it like you said, it's such a low budget thing. Like it's terrible. I'm pretty sure if the three of us wanted to, we could jump in and make the exact same game at a higher quality within a few months and be done and over with and make hundreds of thousands of dollars off of it. Because it was that terrible looking. The controls were clunky just by looking at it and everything else. But sadly, you can't really do much about it again because it's their right to make the game. It's our right to complain about it.
Hmm.
So it's just one of those things, and that's why I say I'll play the devil's advocate because just because I like it doesn't mean I'm going to try to get it pulled off or banned or anything like that because it's their right creatively to make it. I mean, it's as pointless as it may be. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have another poorly made, like poor taste game. I don't know if you guys ever heard about the Super Columbine Massacre RPG game that was like released back in like 2005,
That's
based
a
off the
thing.
99. Yeah, it was an actual thing. Talk
Wow, I
about
never heard about this one.
poor taste. Yeah, dude, you'll have to look it up.
Oh, if I want to, man.
Hey, man, on Google, only 64% of people like that game.
Only
See?
64.
Only 64.
Big
Yeah,
Holden
and it
fans,
was
apparently.
literally you walk around the school and like reenact like the whole entire shooting.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Like, and I've said it before on our podcast. I'll say it again. There's terrible people and terrible shit out in the world.
Mhm.
There's always going to be. Realistically, we're never going to have a time of like just straight peace. It's not going to happen.
No.
And it's not like this is the first time games or this isn't the last time games are going to get blamed for a tragedy, obviously. And
No.
my heart goes out to those people. It was a terrible tragedy, and I mean, I just don't feel like games should be to blame because say they run with it, say they're like, you know what, yeah, the game should be to blame. There's going to be such like a negative impact on the gaming community. Like you're going to see, okay, if they stop it here, like okay, violent video games, we're taking all the violence out of games. Well, then what's next? We're going to take all of the animals out of games because PETA gets extremely pissed off once again. Like, when does it stop?
Right.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't. It just drives me crazy. Like you said, the closed-mindedness, the fact that people have so much information at their fingertips and they refuse to use it. They watch Fox News, MSNBC, CNN, whatever news outlet they may watch. They believe everything that they put out, and you can literally find the story or find an exact quote in a matter of 5 seconds if you pick up your phone or open your computer, your tablet, anything. Like, I mean, for God's sakes, you have a smart TV, you got YouTube, you can find any interview you want. You know, it's just it drives me absolutely crazy, and it's going to get me going on a rant. And I'm trying to stay calm and cool, collected, and here and everything.
Yeah.
But like, I'll just throw a quick example out for people believing anything on there. Okay, some years back, in Baltimore, when the whole thing happened with the guy that ended up dying in police custody, there was a video that came out on the Fox News. Okay, and I'm not trying to throw Fox News under the bus here. I don't like any of the main news stations. I'm just going to say that. But Fox News aired a video that showed the protesters, and they were chanting on the video, "We won't stop till kill a cop." All right, they edited it so that it sounded like they were saying, "We won't stop till we kill a cop." The actual video that you could find on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and everything else actually said, "We won't stop till all killer cops are till all killer cops are locked up or behind bars," or something like that. Like that's what they actually were saying, but Fox News was editing it so that it sounded like they were wanting to kill cops.
What?
Yeah,
Fox News
I
editing something?
I hate mainstream media, man.
I know.
People are straight up sheeple when it comes to that. And the stupid thing
Exactly.
with mainstream media is they want the coverage so quick that they're willing to put up like anything to grab people's attention, even though it's like they're reporting on something that's going on and it's like false information or inaccurate information. They just want to throw it out there so people watch their stuff.
Right.
Mhm.
And people
And
lap
then-
it up.
Yeah, and then it's left wing and right wing, and then everything's directed towards a particular audience just to pull them in. And acts of violence like are more on the news. They're more than likely going to put acts of violence out on the news just to gain an audience, just to like basically incite fear, so that way you're constantly watching like for updates and stuff like that. It's ridiculous. I can't stand it.
Oh
It's
yeah.
all about the ratings.
As soon as the word terror, as soon as that pops up, it's on every news station.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and honestly, every time something happens, you know, I want to be that guy that's sitting there with popcorn, going, just fucking watching it all unfold in front of me because it's so. Oh God, man!
Bottom line, think for yourself. Do your research.
Yeah.
It takes 5 seconds.
God, I know we got on rants like it's been almost an hour. We were trying to stick to 45 minutes. We had a bunch of games that we wanted to cover. We ended up really not, because this is just one of those topics that you can get going so quick. And I'm actually proud of myself for how calm I've stayed, because everybody has seen in other videos how I start going and how I get red faced and just, you know, steam blowing through my ears and everything else. But yeah, oh God.
Stay tuned for part 2, Electric Boogaloo. Coming soon.
Before we go, does anybody else have anything else that they want to add? Any other quick games or anything like that, real quick?
Nobody talked about the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Oh, No Russian.
Part.
Yeah, I had thought about that too the other day.
Yeah.
I wrote that down. So for anybody that doesn't know, in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, there was a mission called No Russian. You basically spawn into an airport, which is one of the multiplayer maps. Terminal was a multiplayer map. You spawn in with a light machine gun. I can't remember if it was an M60 or exactly what it was, the M60E4 or whatever it was. Basically,
you're gonna hurt me. 240 Bravo, son.
I just said I couldn't remember what the gun was. Did I not just say that? Anyway, it'd be different if I was looking at the gun and said the wrong thing. Anyway, so you spawn in, and literally the game forces you to mow innocent people down, you know, in the airport. There are no children that I can recall. There were men and women, no children. But basically, if you didn't shoot, you failed the mission, because they would turn around, look at you, be like, you're a traitor, you didn't shoot anybody, and then you'd fail the mission. You have to restart all over. So yeah, that game got a lot of flack right away, and you had the option to skip over it. If anybody didn't know, when you came to that mission, it would say something like, this mission is very, in lack of better terms, fucked up. You know, do you want to skip it?
You got a fair warning.
You know, yeah, exactly. So it gave you that option, but people still freaked out about it. Like, you don't like it, don't play it, don't watch it, don't
buy the game.
There you go. It's like, just like we had talked about before. If you don't like something, don't buy it, don't watch it. Like, you're doing nothing but wasting your time, your energy, and your breath by bitching about something.
Yeah.
And it's just like what I talked about before. When people go onto Facebook and complain about shit, they comment on these articles. All I see is I'm like, well, guess what? Every time you click on that article, every time you like or dislike it, you put the angry face, you comment on it, more and more feeds or more articles like that is going to pop up on your feed. Like, you're literally just fucking yourself over if you don't want to see this, because that's all you're going to see.
Don't try to be an attention whore. Oh, this game offends me, but I bought it and played it anyways.
Right.
Oh, yeah, well, you're an idiot.
That drives me absolutely crazy too. Like,
well, like I've seen plenty of movies that I didn't know what the plot of it was, but it looked like a good movie, and then it's like, oh shit. Look, man, you don't know my life. But like, I'd see the movie and be like, man, that was kind of offensive. But I did it to myself, and my day goes on. I don't go protesting, you know. It blows my mind. I don't know.
And then two more things real quick that I want to touch on for the games like this before we sign off. South Park, Stick of Truth. The game got harder the darker you made your skin color. Like that.
I did. I never noticed that.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, the difficulty setting was based on the race of your character. If the whitest the white that you made your character, the easier the game was. So as you go down the scale, it got harder and harder. And
just thought it was really good.
nope. So if you made this pale, like ginger style character, you're gonna have the easiest game of your life, man. Like nothing is gonna stop you. And yeah, it was kind of jacked up. Like I didn't believe it at first, and then I actually got the game and I started reading through everything about it. Oh shit. Yeah. Like
God, man. I mean, it's funny. Like you can laugh about it, but it's
it
like
is, but
because it's South Park, we expect it from them.
Yeah.
right, exactly.
That's-
Like this comes from the guys that have literally done everything they can to get shut down. Like they will literally do whatever. Like the school shooter episode. Have you guys actually watched
yeah,
that?
dude.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
That is so fucked up. Like they're leaving
Like-
school as kids are getting mowed down and carried out in body bags and shit, and they're all just walking along like everything's okay, like it's
Yeah.
We're
normal.
still teaching class
Dude.
and stuff, and the SWAT team's coming to their class. All right, section 4 is clear.
I think
Like-
like every episode they had of that season had like multiple school shootings like on
Yeah.
a daily basis where they just like, man, whatever, who cares? It's normal.
Yeah, yeah, and that's God, man.
Which I mean, sadly enough, when you think about it, if things keep up the way they are, that's how it's gonna be. It's gonna be like, oh, there's another mass shooting, and people are gonna stop not stop caring, but people are gonna stop being so shocked by it. It's just
Oh,
like, oh, there's another mass shooting. Well, it's America. What'd you expect?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I mean, I guess at least it's not bombs going off on the roadside as we're going to work. Like
Yeah.
bombings that are killing hundreds of people like are going on in other countries. So I mean, I not giving any excuses of mass shootings or anything like that, but things can always get worse. And if this is the biggest issue that we have right now, imagine what shit could pop off later on.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And that's why I'm thankful for the concealed carry license.
Yeah.
I don't know if anybody else feels the same way. I mean, I know the two of you do, but at least I know that if I am carrying and something popped off, I at least have an opportunity. I'm not just a sitting duck to,
Mhm.
just basically be stuck.
Yeah. They
and
need
then-
to.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say the news needs to stop giving like these pieces of shit like free publicity. Like they want to cover so much, they're like, oh, here's this guy, here's his background story, and then like even like some news stations like or like will try to portray them as like, oh, this innocent person was influenced by this, that's why they did it. Like
Yeah.
type bullshit.
Why not just say, hey, this guy was a piece of shit. He did all the stuff because he just felt like it. Like he had fun
Yeah.
doing it.
Yeah, like
right.
discourage it. Don't give them the free publicity. Maybe it'll help like cut down on like shootings or like just like crime in general. Just stop giving them free publicity because you're gonna
Right.
see your name all over everything.
Right. And
Well,
that's exactly what we're doing.
You
the
discourage
guy,
it. You discourage the behavior.
Like the guy in Texas, they were like, well, his 4-page manifesto said. Who cares what his manifesto said? The guy did what he did.
All right,
mean,
so now-
that should. That
so
should
now
be
people
enough
are
to
gonna
know
go-
him.
People are now going to want to try to find the manifesto because it's online.
Yeah.
People have posted. And that's what drives me crazy. Okay, is these guys do this stuff and they release all these writings and recordings and videos, and everybody wants to go watch it. Mein Kampf. I think everybody knows what Mein Kampf is.
Mhm.
For those of you that don't know, it's Hitler's book Mein Kampf, which basically I believe it translates into My Struggle or something like that. It's a hell of a book. It's messed up. All right. It leads up to everything that Hitler went through and ended up doing what he did. But it's worth a read. As much as you may hate Hitler, like the majority of people in this world do, I would hope the vast majority, aside from the people actually are deniers of the Holocaust and everything. Yes, those people still exist, like the flat earthers. It's an excellent book. I definitely recommend reading it, but be prepared for everything that goes through it. I don't know how to explain it. Like, you just got to read it. They have English versions that are translated. But yeah, I don't get it. Because it's Hitler, everybody steers away from it. Nobody wants anything to do with it. But as soon as something happens here in the U.S., everybody wants to know the guy's name. They want to know his picture and everything else. We need to do it like New Zealand did with that mosque shooter. They did not mention his name once. They blurred his face out every time it came up. Every photo, every video that he was in for him going to court, his face was blurred out.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime his name was mentioned in a video, they bleeped it out as much as they possibly could. I think his name ended up getting out there, or somebody released it or whatever. But Like they did everything they could to hide it. So we need to do things like that, not share everything. But I mean, we also glorify a lot of shit here that doesn't need to be glorified. But opinions.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, I mean, does anybody else have anything? We've already gone over a little bit over an hour. We were trying to keep this at 45 minutes, but this is a topic like again that we could go on for probably a couple of hours if we want to touch on everything and kind of discuss into detail. But you know,
Dude, those doors in COD, man.
Beautiful.
I for one can't wait for the white phosphorus.
Oh Jesus.
The
Oh,
framework,
Jesus, dude.
the crown molding on the buildings, you just
Take the white phosphorus out, ban the game. It's a bad game, don't buy it.
we touched on that last episode too. Is people
Yeah,
just
no.
overreacting about that? It's a game. It's entertainment. I don't like that white phosphorus in the game. Guess what? Don't play it, bitch. That's
Yeah. That's like
plain and simple.
it's like making a Vietnam-based game and not having napalm in it because napalm's
Right.
bad. We're gonna make a Vietnam-based game, but we're not gonna put Vietnamese in it because that's insensitive to Vietnamese culture. So
we're just gonna use cats.
here's some Wookiees.
They already take out, like in any war game, they already take out, kids that are strapped with bombs that parents send in to blow shit up. The fucking kids that come up to soldiers with grenades with pins pulled or whatever else. Like they already take all that shit out. But people are complaining about like the basic shit that doesn't happen all that often or that has multiple uses. But if you're unlucky enough to get stuck in it, you're screwed. Like I just, again, try not to go on a rant. I'm trying to stay calm. So yeah.
Once again, there's terrible shit in the world. Don't pretend it's not there.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. So, I mean, that's all that I've got. This has kind of been everywhere, but we touched on a lot of shit, real world issues and video game issues and everything else. So, hopefully, nothing that any of us said got to anybody overly. Didn't overly piss you off. If it did, write us hate letters. I'll read them, delete them. I don't know.
We'll have like a own separate podcast for the reading
There we
hate
go.
mail.
There we go.
I did have one more thing.
Yeah.
Tacos or hot dogs are considered tacos. Changed my mind.
They absolutely are. Because you think about it, you got the bun, all right? You got the meat.
Now we're gonna get hate mail.
Yeah. You got
That's
the
all
bun,
I
you got the meat, and then you got the toppings. All right. So, I mean,
would you rather eat a real taco or hot dog taco?
Hot taco. Didn't work. I'll work on it for the next episode.
Wow.
Yeah.
God. God damn it. I don't know.
We got you so sidetracked.
You do. I'm trying to focus. Anybody else got anything to say here?
All you can think about is regular tacos and a hot dog.
I could read the B list off if you want me to do that.
Oh shit.
Best food name, Albus Bumbledore.
That is fantastic.
Find him on the BuzzFeed.
The BuzzFeed.
God damn it. All right, so man.
You might want to end this before we keep going.
Yeah, no. It's already been 5 minutes since I tried to end it, and we're going on with random stupid shit now. All right, so that'll do it for episode 11 of the Potato Aim Podcast. Can't believe it's been almost 3 months already since we started doing this. It's been awesome. The last couple episodes have seen a little bit of growth here and there. We've got more page likes on the Facebook page. Yeah, and so for anybody, just really quick, that may watch this, if you don't watch the Off Tackle episodes, if you're interested in doing a fantasy football league, comment below, message me on Twitter, Instagram, anything like that. Comment on the Facebook page. A couple of us were talking before about trying to get a Middle of Nowhere Entertainment Facebook page or fantasy league going. So yeah, if you're interested, Pig, I saw your hand pointing to you. Coming up.
Interested.
Awesome.
Very interested.
So we got 3 people. So if anybody else, if we can get like 9 more people, 7 to 9 more people, we'll definitely look into doing that. So yeah, you guys got anything to sign off?
I like
AP
doors.
Print Lab. AP 3D Print Lab.
Shout it out.
I actually have a side up, which
Nice
I need
plug.
to change the link on my Twitch page for that, because I think I still have your direct Facebook page on that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I just made that like I don't know about a week ago. I think I'm getting close to like 200 likes already on it. Not bad.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know what? Since you're since you're part of this, I think we should shout out the page on ours. You know, in the middle of nowhere, might as well.
Decent.
Definitely.
I mean, if you're cool with it there, Bumpy.
Oh yeah.
I mean, he's.
Hey,
Shop's
I plug
coming
him
along
in
great.
every Twitch stream I have.
I know you do.
True.
I know you do, and we also.
And he's been paying me nothing but pancakes for like a month and a half now since I've been doing it.
I got some designs that I was looking at for that project.
Which project? Oh, the one that we were talking about.
Yep.
Yeah, that would be. After we stop recording, I got something else to ask you too. But anyway, we got to stop getting sidetracked here. Damn it. So, anyway, thank everybody for watching episode 11. Give us a like, comment, subscribe, everything else. Yeah, you know, it is what it is. I'm Raven F.
I'm Bumpy Rug.
I'm Angry Pig.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.